You guys are getting an inside look right now. Me and Rich thinking about how we're going to do our own onboarding sequence. It's real time.
Welcome, everyone. So today what we're talking about is memberships and subscriptions, like we talked about a few weeks ago. But what I wanted to do was really kind of take a look at messaging, like what should happen day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, right? A 30-day kind of retention, engineering client success, engineering bonding to the company. I have the Early to Rise gauntlet from when Mark wrote it. I think there's something here that I definitely want to talk about. So let's do that. Okay, so this is the very first message, right? Message 101. Welcome to Early to Rise. Thank you for trying out Early to Rise. In the next 2 weeks, you will receive 10 messages. Some will be on business strategies, some on personal productivity, and 2 will cover specific skills that help ambitious people succeed. I will address one subject each day. It should take no more than 10 minutes of your time. These discussions are not meant to be comprehensive, impossible given their length, but provocative. My goal is to get you to understand something, remember something, realize something, and ultimately do something that will make you healthier, wealthier, and even wiser. Success is a lifetime process. Early to Rise takes a day-at-a-time approach. Among the first 10 messages, you will encounter 2 business building secrets that are perhaps the most important you will ever know, a personal productivity system that will double your productivity and guarantee that you achieve your most important goals, an introduction to selling that will make any selling you do more effective, a rumination on what it means to live rich, and a really good story about negotiating.
Wow.
Right? So it's like, and then it goes into
It's almost like a lead to a sales letter.
Right.
That you just can't wait to read.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? You know, it then goes into a piece of content, right? Okay, so then the most powerful way to grow a business. Let's begin with a business principle that is behind many, if most, not most of America's greatest fortunes. And then he goes into like where price is one of the key criteria. Do what everyone else is doing, do it better, but cut the price, right? So that's the idea there. But I love this intro because he really sets up, it makes you look forward to receiving the next bunch of emails, right? That first email really sets a tone that is kind of like you want to build anticipation.
He described it like, I don't know, bite size.
Yeah.
Take less than 10 minutes. Everything seems so simple. I'm going to get so much value out of this. All I have to do is open the email from Mark Ford.
Exactly.
Michael Masterson.
Yep. Yeah. And so the idea there, right, is that what a great way to kind of set up the beginning of the relationship, that here's what you're going to get over the next 10 days. And it's not like necessarily you're going to get this tomorrow and that the next day, because then maybe you're already pre-selecting which ones you definitely want to read versus which ones you don't. The number one thing, right, I would say is that you want to start a process where the likelihood of the next email getting opened is higher because they open this one, right? And that because the open rate is highest generally on day 0, right? Anything that we can do on day 0 to get people to look forward to future emails is really important. And I'm sure there are some people here that haven't heard me talk about it. But when we first launched Founders Club, which is like, you know, some of you have seen some of the reports because we put some of them for free in the Facebook group. When we sold Founders Club, it was the very first time we sold something without like a big launch, right? Like, because we were still in our launchy mode at that time, pre-webinars, automated webinars, and or right around the same time. We didn't do what we normally had done with all of our launches, which in our launches, we would always credentialize me at the beginning, right? Because like, why should I listen to you, right? And so we didn't have any of that in the beginning of Founders. And I decided I would ask Mark Ford about it, Michael Masterson. Just stepping back for a second, why am I asking Mark this, right? And I'm asking Mark this because, you know, he's helped build Agora and multi-billion-dollar business. Wasn't at that time, but still, it occurred to me that part of the reason why I was there is because I was very familiar with Mark's track record. But in Founders Club, people were not necessarily knew my track record. And so what I did was I created I don't remember if it was 3 days or 5 days. I think it was like 5 days of content when people first joined Founders Club that would credentialize me, not just credentialize me, because so it was like covertly credentializing me while at the same time delivering a valuable lesson. So what I did was there was an article on me in Cranes about the hypnosis business going from 0 to 13.5 million. And they were talking a lot about how like I had tested every variable because it was direct response and how much we improved things over the years. So would send a like 4-page PDF of written material plus like the article 2 pages behind that, right? But I think the article was in front. And then the parts that there were parts of the article that were highlighted, and then in the written material it would reference like, if you read that statement, you'll see like so and so said, right? Like, so I keep referring back to the article to get people to read the article, right? Then I did it with like the Wall Street Journal article on me about the fashion business, right? Or the music business. And so what I was doing was teaching a valuable lesson each day, but I was teaching it in a way that people would also know my backstory. So for me, right, like one of the most important things that you can do, especially in any kind of like with any customer, client, or member who's paying you, is to really think long and hard about how you can get someone either a quick win or a major success in a very short period of time. One of the things that I used to do with my programs as I learned more and got better at doing them was also incentivizing people taking action. So like when I taught the GPS course on theory of constraints, every week we awarded a new member with the best case study. So we had a bunch of people submitting case studies every week, and we would award a winner every week. And then that winner, we would fly down to our offices Thursday night. They'd spend the morning with me on Friday. They'd be on the live stream with me Friday. And then the rest of the day, my team would help them with their business. So people really wanted like to be flown in, taken care of, like, and helped grown. And so we had a lot of people who really moved and tried to get as much done as humanly possible because they wanted to get the prize, right? And what I wanted them to get was the result. This is one of those using like marketing powers for good, right? We're going to try and market to people and bribe the hell out of them to achieve some level of success. And what that does for them, obviously, if someone achieves a success, they're much more likely to stay loyal and be retained, right? And they're also really good propaganda for us to then get other members, right? Like if you start accumulating, like if our goal is to get someone a success within the first 14 days, right? Or maybe it's the first 7 days. I don't know what it is right now, but then if they get that success, then we've helped them pay for the program. And if we get a lot of those, like in a promo, if you see a ton of people who all like, joined last week and this week they're making more money already, that becomes a really easily sellable kind of thing, right? So you want to kind of get your head around how can you do that, right? And what will quickly kind of, I think, happen for us is that we're going to have a lot more things that we want to do than we can do in just a few emails, right? And so we're going to have to kind of think that through from a standpoint of how best, what comes first, what comes second, what comes third, right? Like, how important is it for them to bond with me? Should we get them a success story first, right? Or do we make certain like things available, but not necessarily like,
yeah, that's like the content. I feel like there's some like housekeeping stuff that people talk about in their welcome sequence.
and onboarding platform, right?
Yeah, there's always a little bit of just how to use the platform or whatever they need to know to enjoy and use your content or use the stuff that they paid for, if this is about customers. And maybe housekeeping too involves like, hey, join our Facebook group, do this, follow me here, all that stuff, which is dripped, usually in small amounts. You don't want to overwhelm them.
What you can do is you can put very valuable content in different places, right? To have people like go to the YouTube channel and watch this, right? And that. But some things I wrote down. So right now we have create anticipation, resell people on the product, right? Bond, like, and respect the personality. That would be me. Engineer their success. Like, how quickly can we get a quick win? So I'll be back in 1 second. All right. So far we have anticipation, resell benefits, bond, like, respect, rich, engineer success, early wins, open loops, right? tease what's coming soon, possibly a user guide, because that then cuts away a lot of stuff that we would have to possibly deliver in emails, right? And we can set up a lot of this stuff, right? How to use the platform, that would be in the user guide, right? I would imagine our vision, mission, and purpose could be in the user guide too, right? Join the community, because that's like, how do we get people active and engaged on our Facebook group? That's different than like watching like a piece of content here and a piece of content there. We want them to join, but how do we get them actually like talking to other members and stuff like that? Tease what's coming in the future, milestones and what they're going to get. Follow us on all the different social media channels to get certain things, our why, and then some kind of potential place where people are overwhelmed with case studies of success.
Yeah. I think vision, mission, and purpose might also live in that first email too, like what Mark Ford did, where he's talking about the whole goal behind the newsletter to make you healthier, wealthier, and wiser, I think is what he said. And that's kind of like his vision, his mission with Early to Rise.
Right.
And yeah, I think selling them on the purpose of everything, that way they feel a part of that movement, a part of that some of its identity, just more than the product itself, but they're part of something bigger than just the mere product that you're offering.
Something that I did, right? Like when I first started talking about Steal Our Winners from the stage, I talked about how some things get better with time, other things do not, right? And I had milk versus wine. And then over time, I figured out a better way to do that by doing these diagrams, right? That results go down over time with any new marketing tactic, and the effort goes up. And so like there are these three areas. And so that, I think, is a really important message, right, for everyone to see.
And this is kind of goes into what you wrote down, which is resell SOW in a way.
Yeah.
And you're drilling the ideas that you really want them to accept and those beliefs that we need them to have, because at the end of the day, we want to increase retention.
Yeah.
And if they accept what we believe to be true, which it is, I mean, like that's
just the way,
you know what I mean? Then obviously that's going to increase.
Right.
And you're saying that those things that you mentioned, those ideas, you're thinking about how to incorporate that into the onboarding itself.
Yeah. I mean, like, do we put that in whatever the user guide is, or do we actually like record a special video where that's just in the platform that greets every new member, like once they buy, like what's the best way to make sure that it gets conveyed?
Right.
Like, or maybe it's all the above, right?
Yeah. Or it's like, finding a story that's valuable and kind of teaches some type of valuable lesson that you could also tie into the fact, like transition into, just kind of Ben Settle style, Matt Fury style.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just to help people understand. It's not like it's not the biggest issue if someone does ignore it too, but yeah, I don't think we would call it a user guide.
No, we wouldn't call it a user guide, but we do want it consumed, because we're going to put propaganda in there that enhances our kind of thing. What do you think of having a Facebook group for Steal Our Winner customers where they can discuss how they applied the strategies in Steal Our Winners? This can be a useful support group to help us implement and learn from each other. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if did Matt end up going forward with Circle or not? I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have our own platform where we're doing a group, or if we're going to use Facebook. I'm not sure what Matt decided, but if we keep it in Facebook, then yeah, we plan on doing that. And there'll actually be a Strategic Profits Facebook group, which will be free. And then there will be a Steal Our Winners group, which will be only for the paid members. And
yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to be on Facebook or not, but that is in the works right now.
Membership sites are best known for the recurring monthly revenue. When we think about our online memberships, it isn't the recurring nature of it that is the big sticking point in selling it. It is the offer. We will pay every month for something that we cannot do without. We will pay every month for something that is difficult to walk away from. It's called pain of disconnect. But at the core, we will gladly pay monthly for something which we see is giving us more value each month than what we are being asked to pay. So it all starts with your offer. What are they going to get each and every month? What is the real world value, the benefits they're going to receive each month? What impact will it have on their daily lives? you have to give more value than what you're asking them to pay. Furthermore, they need to see and know that what they are getting is worth more to them than what they are paying each month. Always remember, you're not selling a bunch of videos. You're selling the outcome and benefits that come with having that outcome. And you price according to that. You also position your pricing around that. How to enhance your offer. Well, digital memberships like the kind we're talking about around here could contain a number of things. Training and information. Are you going to be delivering something of value to them each month? Access. People do place value in having access to experts to help them. Perhaps you can build in a higher level of access to your program. Clarity and speed. In many markets, there is a sense of confusion and overwhelm. If you can truthfully tell them that you're going to provide a life raft and drastically speed up their progress, that's real value. I think we do that. Done for you. Will your membership contain any kind of done for you? There you go, Cam. Service. This can be a demanding thing to offer, but it has insane perceived value. In fact, you could probably charge a lot more for your membership if it contained a done for you component. Status. Will your members get any cool, I guess, swag, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Use among their peers through your program, bragging rights, a competitive advantage. Software, if you can couple software with your offer, that can increase the value offer, a sense of belonging. Will your prospect feel like they're missing out on the cool kids club if they're not inside your program? That's the goal. How to reduce perceived risk. Provide a guarantee. Obvious. And pretty much everybody offers some kind of money back guarantee, but can you really ramp it up so that your guarantee stands out from the pack and really makes it clear you stand behind the value of your offer? I think we could do something like that. Don't hide the cancellation option. You shouldn't hope they forget that they can cancel. In fact, you should be open about it. Tell them they can cancel anytime, even show them how to do it. By being upfront about it, they realize that they're not committing to some long-term thing and they can back out of it if they don't like it. So that's that article. I don't know if you guys remember this, but this was a picture of my whiteboard that I had in my office that just when I was working on campaigns, a lot of times I'd put all these on. More related to launches, but I imagine that quite a few of these we could kind of morph a little bit and use in addition to the overall sequence, right? Like fostering community, like not necessarily surfacing and eliminating objections, but like kind of like reminding them of the pain that we take away, right? Like, and things like that. So I think there's probably some good stuff in here, like hope, right? And kind of figuring out the same tactics that we use to sell. In our world, a lot of times this kind of just is left unsaid. Like, if you want to retain members, then make something worthy of that people would want to be a member of, right? And so it's like, how can you do more for your customer or member or subscriber or client that would make it like dumb for them to leave at the end of the day? Like, that's what you want to make it, so that the smartest people want to be a member, not the dumbest people. And unfortunately, I think the way a lot of people talk about membership sites and retention and stuff like that, they're thinking about tricks and like friction to like cancel and shit like that, which is bad will. And at the end of the day, it's not the most direct route to get what you want anyway, which is to actually get people to love being a member, love paying you because of what they get in return, right? And so that, I think, is where we want to do it, but we want to do it in the most ethical way by giving our subscribers as many wins as possible, so they want to stick around and tell others about it.
When I first got on board at Strategic Profits and we were talking about the whole gauntlet thing, I think the biggest maybe aha moment or epiphany, I guess you call it, when it comes to creating an onboarding sequence is like what you're talking about, where like pretty much the marketing doesn't end. It kind of keeps going. And what I'm looking at here on this photo that Rich showed me, and I think this is when you were thinking about doing, it was a while ago. I mean, a lot of this is all marketing stuff, like eliminating objections, intensifying the pain, and just reminding them how valuable at the end of the day, reminding them how valuable the product is, the service is, which not only entices them to actually use it, but makes them want it even more. And it doesn't feel like you're just giving them something and then that's the end of it. Like you're constantly bringing it up. It's kind of like, I just think of like Ben Settle, like with his email player subscription,
Mhm.
where he like, he'll email all about that. And of course he's selling it, but the people who are reading those emails too are people who are already subscribers. And it's just constantly reminding them of the value that's inside.
Mhm.
And that's a long-term play. Maybe it's not all about like the first 30 days, but at the end of the day, I think that's so important is just like continuing your marketing for it, even if they're already a subscriber,
Yeah, because
but
like,
making it valuable at the same time.
yeah, we got to make it valuable. And, the whole idea is like there's a promise going both ways with a subscription, right? People can cancel a subscription at any time, but there's an implication of doing future business together, like the following month.
Mhm.
And the promise from the company is that we're going to give you like equal value or better each and every month, right? Like what you're going to get, you're going to love from us. And the customer's commitment is, as long as you're doing that for me, I'm going to continue to be a customer.
Mhm.
And so I think that, I think making sure, like, you can't take people for granted. And if you do, like, odds are they will leave you. And so, yeah, they're definitely, you need to remind people of like what makes you great and why you're here and what you do for them. And if you don't, then you will suffer because of it. And there was something else I wanted to share, but now I'm drawing a blank. All right, guys. To Higher Profits Beyond, this is Jack and Rich signing out. We will see you soon.